Hello, everyone, and welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the live Enlightened tapping demonstration for Being Love, and I am so thrilled and privileged to be here with you. And we have a group of very brave souls that have volunteered to, on video camera, be uh, echoes for us to go through this process. So what we're going to do this evening, I'm actually going to do the full enlightened tapping sequence so that I can stress for you and sort of highlight for you the qualities of the enlightened voices that you want to be flexing and developing and strengthening within yourself, so that when you shift to the peak of the pyramid, when you shift to that unique self voice, that you have all the skills and talents and strength and universal love and presence and power that you need to be absolutely still and present with these sensations and these emotions as they come up and out. And it's the skills of the witness and detachment or non-attachment in the stillness of pure being, and then the unconditional love of the Divine Mother. And so when you have those unshakable in your consciousness, and then you can be present to these intense sensations and movements in your body without trying to suppress them, repress them, escape them in some way, form, or fashion. Then you're gold. In my experience and in my understanding, in my path, that is the jet fuel for your own liberation and unraveling not only any blocks in your energy system that you've added in this lifetime, but in some of the spiritual traditions, the teachers say that we're born, that we bring with us from other lifetimes energy blocks, that karma, if you will. But that allows us to start unspooling even things from past lives, if you believe in such things. But the important thing is to unravel the stuff from this life, and you have to get to it first before you can get to that place of stillness and peace. So anyway, I'd love to hear from everybody. If you just enter into the chat who you are and where you're listening from in the world, and then in a minute we're going to introduce you to our panel. So let's see, we're going to go to John first. And everybody, this is Mr. John. John, why don't you just introduce yourself real quickly and tell everyone where you're from?
Hi everyone, my name's John Paduchak. I'm from Hudson, New Hampshire. And of course I work with Alan with Webinar Jam, helping him with his webinars.
But you also are using EFT in a very powerful and profound way. You want to just share with people a little bit how EFT's helped you?
Sure, I've had, ever since age 2, a condition of having essential tremors, familial tremors. And so I use EFT daily to kind of work through that. Recently it became very kind of Parkinson-like, really difficult, to manage. And so I use EFT on a daily basis to kind of reduce my stress load and kind of take that load off of my body.
Fantastic, fantastic. All right, well, thank you so much. And then we have Jan from Denver. Hello there. Jan, you just want to say hello and introduce yourself?
I'm Jan Denon. I live in Denver currently, and I am a nurse practitioner. I work in the surgical intensive care unit right now, but I'm Healing Touch certified EFT practitioner and hypnotherapist, and I'm moving into alternative therapies because I think that's more effective than all the drugs we're giving, so I think that's the way to go.
All right, well, welcome, welcome. And now we're moving to Miss Denise, and you're muted, Miss Denise. There you go.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm up in Derry, New Hampshire. I'm also a certified EFT practitioner with Awesome Life Coaching and a certified hypnotherapist. And I'm just committed to people living free, living their life on their terms instead of everyone else's expectations. And I love the ETM, the Enlightened Tapping Meditation, because it brings a whole new dimension to tapping.
Fantastic. All right, we've had a couple people who have typed in. Wendy from Malaysia is here. Wendy, thank you so much. Davina from Phoenix, Arizona. Actually, Davina, I was just in Phoenix. I just came home in time for the hurricane here in Houston. Lynn from Houston says, howdy, everyone. And Wendy says, hello, all you beautiful beings. So, so as we dive into the process, let me just remind you the prescription of being love. It is being able to shift into your unique self. Now, what you'll realize, the more you do the enlightened tapping, the easier it is. I mean, we formally go through the controller, stillness of pure being, unconditional love, and then up to the peak of the pyramid. But at a certain point, when you've greased the wheels, when you've created those neurological pathways in your brain, and you've anchored the sensations and experience of these high vibrational voices with your intention, you can just go, oh, let me speak to the unique self and just shift. And you can, and I always take that, just 30 seconds. Can I sense myself into infinity? And can I sense myself in my bones and in my breath right now? And when I can do those two things, and I know that I am at least, in my unique self, and then I can begin to sense and feel and all the other qualities that come with that. But for me, it's always that infinite and immediate that lets me know that I'm at the peak of the pyramid and I'm in the most skillful voice for handling any circumstance that comes into my consciousness. And so when I can sense a sanskara, an old energy block, when I get triggered in some way, when my husband says something to me that hits me just the wrong way, and I can feel that, that energy of wanting to resist in some way or attack in some way, or then I can actually say, oh, let me shift to the unique self, and now let me be present to the sensation of what is that energy. And that allows me to then even amplify that energy a little bit and amplify that energy and really be present to it. And that's the thing. And so as we go through the process tonight, being in that unique self, then I focus on the sensation, and I like to imagine those qualities of the witness and non-attachment, and I think of it as unconditional love, and I sort of imagine it or sense it as a mist. And I like to take that sensation, whatever's happening in my physical body, from my toe tips all the way up to my tips of my ears and the top of my head, whatever sensation is happening in the body, I like to just surround it by that mist of unconditional love. And here's the secret. With no agenda, with no intention to change anything, just be fully present, embracing with compassion and love and presence and awareness those sensations and those energies, and just move with them, track them as they shift and move through the body, and they ebb and flow, and just be with them. And sometimes the energy can be so intense you even have to move your body, shake your arms or use your voice, just to let the energy move, to come up and out through the layers of your body, your heart, your mind, your actions, and your energy. And like the thunderstorm, like a good sexual orgasm, let those energies build and release, and then you're free of them. You never have to experience them again in that way. So just a couple of things. Let's see, Stevie O is here. Hello, Stephanie. Um, and Charlie from Portland, Maine. Hello, Charlie. Welcome. And Davina says, "Are we early?" No, we're right on time. We started at 9 o'clock Central, and I think that's 6 o'clock for you. 9, 8, 7, yeah, 6 o'clock for you, Davina. So you're right on time, darling. I know there aren't that many people who registered for tonight, and my goal is to do this demonstration with our volunteers, and and have it recorded so people can enjoy it and get the whole process. So we're about to get started, and great. So fantastic. So I had everybody say hello, but I'm going to go back through our panel this evening, and we do have one more person who I think is going to be joining us in a few minutes. She was having a little technical difficulty. But as we start to talk about toxic emotions and chronic emotional states, that's going to play an important part when we get back to the end of the tapping this evening. So I'm going to come back to John here. And John, if you would just share with our group here, some sort of consistent emotional challenge that you've had.
Well, like I said earlier, because I've had this consistent health challenge since age 2, I have kind of that feeling of hopelessness, helplessness, despair. It's just like it's something that keeps continuing, and I can't work my way out of it, and then it crops up again, and just kind of an endless cycle.
Right, right. And for those of you, that's a fifth chakra emotion. That's actually a quality of grief. When that sadness, grief, moving into hopelessness and despair. So that's definitely a fifth chakra emotion. So thank you, John.
Welcome.
And then coming to Jan. And you're still muted there, dear. There you go. So is there a chronic emotion that you have been wrestling with?
I just have repeated feelings of not being right, shouldn't be here, feeling of giving myself away type feeling. And I find that I manifest people to me that don't hear me or see me, the feeling of annihilation, which I couldn't pinpoint until after your talk last Sunday, and then it kind of became more clear to me.
Yeah. Well, just in the sharing, you've really talked about two major fears: the fear of being overwhelmed and being annihilated, and then you've talked about the fear of being abandoned. Abandoning yourself and being abandoned by those around you. And so that's that fear. It's a double whammy of fear there.
That's good to know.
Not
just one, but two.
Yeah, well, there are many people in the life that, because, and a lot of this is imprinted in obviously the first and second years of our lives, and many people have a primary fear of being overwhelmed or being actually physically hurt or killed, or, which is more prominent, the fear of being abandoned, of not getting the love and the nurturing and the attention that we need as children. And then there are those of us that actually have both. It's that double whammy. So and usually those people, and I include myself in those people, are the most wounded and often the most protected.
I definitely have been abandoned emotionally and physically, and I've abandoned myself. So
yeah,
that resonates with me. So
yeah, well, and that's what this process actually brings to. Part of this process Jan, is it's a reparenting. It's the way we learn to reparent ourselves. We use the energies of the Divine Father to be present with ourselves, and we use the energies of the Divine Mother to be present with ourselves, and to love all of those voices and all those aspects and all the sensations and experiences that we're still holding and carrying around. And we really do reparent ourselves. So we give ourselves finally the love that we've been looking outside of ourselves for. So welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, joy rapture.
Sounds good. I'm ready. I'm a good parent.
Yeah, all right. And Miss Denise, is there an emotion that's really been haunting you lately?
Yeah, for me, the last 10 years, ever since my mom died, have been really tough with major depression. And there have been a couple other periods of depression in my life. So grief, the sadness, and what I realize now from enlightened tapping meditation is the depression is feeling squashed and stifled and not being allowed to express myself. Um, so due to other people's stuff, whatever. So I hang out with some people far less than I used to, and I'm creating new relationships and really trusting myself more. But that pervasive just sadness, being squashed and not being on fire, um, it's a lousy way to live, and I'm so much happier when am fully expressed and I feel joyful and I connect with my divine healer, my divine energy, and it's just so much more exciting. And that's what life is meant to be like.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, and what I know is that the grief that you feel at your mother's death is only the tip of the iceberg, and that there's a lifetime of grief that's in there that's probably been stuffed
Absolutely.
and stifled. So, but that's again, and I just want to say I didn't say this with Jan, but that fear of annihilation and that fear of abandonment, that is a first chakra fear. And then
Yep.
Denise, again, what you're talking about is again grief, fifth chakra in the throat chakra. So I'm just going to review for everyone quickly before we start the tapping tonight. And then I'd like to hear from you. What's the chronic emotion that you wrestle with that continues to hijack your sense of well-being and ability to be present and stay in the enlightened voices? So first chakra is fear, anxiety, stress. Oh, there's Miss Carolyn, you're here.
I'm here. The full moon is interfering with my electronics.
Well, I'm so glad you're here. So I was just reviewing the 5 chakras and the chronic and toxic emotions, and then we'll come right back and introduce you to everybody.
Okay, great.
Great. So go ahead and mute yourself for a moment if you don't mind. So first chakra, fear. Second chakra is desire, but that exponential imbalance of desire, of craving, of lust, of envy, of wanting something and resenting something, someone for having something that you don't have. Third chakra is anger, rage, fury. It's again that sense of a boundary has been crossed in some way, and you're afraid of losing something, whether it is your own safety and security, something that you feel you possess, someone that you love or care for. Again, it's that third chakra, anger. The fourth chakra is the heart. The chronic and toxic emotion there is the actual physiological response is disgust, and then also shame and guilt comes here at the heart center. And then, as we've already said here, in the fifth chakra is grief and sadness, hopelessness, and despair. So those are the 5 chakras and the 5 sort of chronic emotions. There's an entire spectrum. There's subtleties and nuances of each of those 5 emotions: fear, craving, anger, shame, and grief. So there's a whole sort of spectrum of subtle emotions. Um, let's see. So let's come back to Carolyn. I want to introduce everyone to Carolyn, my beautiful friend here. Unmute yourself, dear.
All right, all set.
So why don't you tell everybody who you are and where you're from?
Great. Hi, everybody. My name is Carolyn McGee. I empower women to overcome transition and loss and reconnect with their heart and step into their beautiful selves. I am in Ashland, Massachusetts.
And she has, you can tell by the angel hovering above her head, a special relationship with angels and dragons, I will tell you.
Yes, absolutely. I work closely with both of them.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah.
Alan.
And the other people on the panel had also just sort of talked about a chronic emotion that they wrestle with that sort of hijacks them from their enlightenment and well-being. Is there something that's really been haunting you?
Yeah, there has been really feeling safe to open my heart to relationships, to deep relationships. I have been hurt a number of times and am feeling the energy closing down and clamping in on my heart. And I work very hard to keep it open, but it's very weary. So
Yeah. Yeah, so you say your heart's very wary,
yes,
and so cautious. So, and I
very
love that you said it's clamping down on my heart. That you can really sense the sensation
hmm
of that contraction of trying to protect the heart, protect the
almost like there's
chest.
shutters kind of going in on it. Yes.
Okay, great, great. All right. Well, we're about to start the enlightened tapping process. So I've got a couple of other people who've just sort of entered into what emotion. Um, Beverly has said that she has wrestles with that emotion, that feeling of not being good enough, and being not enough and not good enough. And so I would say that that's, that chronic feeling of fear and doubt and insecurity. So again, that's of a first chakra essence. And my goal with each of these tapping experiences is that we turn each of these chronic emotions, and by chronic, that means we get stuck in them. And that so it's to be able to transmute these experiences as they begin to unspool and free themselves from our energetic systems, from our connective tissues, our emotional patterns, our actual, the brain, the neural pathways in our brain, our choices and actions, and actually the energy flow through our bodies. As we begin to transmute those chronic emotions, everything begins to shift to love at each of the 7 chakras. Certainly the 5 that are associated with time and space and our experience here in a physical body, but then also into 6 and 7, we begin to really experience love, joy, ecstasy, and passion. So let's see. Um, Lynn said melancholy. So again, that's that sadness that's in the throat chakra. Venus says fear. It covers most of her issues. Yes, and I do subscribe to that. There's love and there's fear. So each of the 5 emotions at some level is based on fear, but it has a unique way of expressing itself. That first chakra is all about safety and security in a body, in our life, in our tribe. And Stevie O says despair, hopelessness, shutting down. Again, that's the 5th chakra. There's a lot more to be said about grief. And there's a lot of potential grieving. And I think you'll find as we go through the process tonight that there's a really powerful and profound way. And for those of you that have mentioned grief, particularly people who get stuck at the throat chakra. Um, I'm from the deep South, and it was not nice or polite or acceptable to be angry in my world. Um, Even though I grew up around a couple of rageaholics, but it was just not polite. It was really dangerous to be angry. And one of the things that I will invite you to do is, as the grief begins to dissipate, can you sense and can you find the sensations of anger? Because particularly when somebody dies or somebody leaves us, there's a tremendous amount of anger, and we don't let ourselves feel it because it's not spiritual, it's not nice, it's not ladylike, it's not polite. Um, or it seems hopeless. Somebody dies, a child dies, or a parent dies, but there's still a voice within us that gets angry that we have been abandoned by somebody that we need and want and need something from. So my experience oftentimes with chronic grief, if you can get in touch with your anger, it will shift that grieving process for you. So that's where being able to be open to this entire full spectrum of emotion and let all of them come up and out from a place of immense skill and power and presence is so valuable. So that's my comment. So let's go ahead and start. And John, we've never really done much tapping as an echo. I know that you did some early on work with me. So would you be willing to get us started with the controller today?
Sure.
Okay, great. Um, so just a reminder of everyone, shifting in your chair, letting the voice come forward, imagining that your normal everyday self has shifted into another chair in the room, and I am speaking to the controller. Okay? So shifting, everybody, please let me speak to the controller. And John is going to be our ambassador and be your voice for the next few minutes. Who am I speaking to?
The controller.
And what's your job?
To control everything.
Control everything. And how's that working out for you?
It's ups and downs.
Yeah, but I bet you're pretty good at it.
Yeah, I'm pretty
I've
good
seen
at
you
it.
in action. Yeah, you're pretty cool under fire. I've seen that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what are some of the things you control for the self?
Oh gosh. Connections.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Um, Interests.
Uh-huh. Okay.
People I surround myself with, or John
Yeah.
surrounds himself with.
Yeah.
Emotions.
Control the emotions. So say a
That
little
one,
bit more
control the
about that,
emotions.
since that is the topic for the evening.
Yeah, and especially since, I'm going through a lot of different emotions and have been probably more emotional than usual with everything going on.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
it definitely feels like an area that is really hard to tightly rein in on.
Yeah. So the emotions have felt a little unruly lately.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So let me say it just. So how about like some of the different sensations in the body as a controller? He mentioned these tremors that he sometimes has. So what's your relationship to the body?
That's a good question. I really feel out of control of the body because of
Okay.
that. Just,
Yeah.
it just seems like
Okay.
something I
Great.
can't tightly rein in.
Yeah. So since that sort of those tremors are something that are out of control, do you find yourself sort of focusing on other kinds of sensations that happen in the body and what you can control?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And then you mentioned emotions. What about sort of controlling the different thoughts and stories he tells in his mind?
Yeah, totally. Because there's a lot of different stories that come up surrounding this and everything else.
Yeah. And you mentioned, relationships and the kind of people he chooses to be with, the different connections he has. I imagine you control a lot of his different behaviors and choices.
Absolutely.
Okay, fantastic. Well, so do you also have a sense that you control some of the other voices?
Yes. I do have a sense that I control some of the other voices.
Mhm. So it would make sense then, if you're sort of the ringleader there, that if I wanted to speak to some of the other voices tonight, that I would get your permission to move forward.
Yes.
Okay, great. So do I have your permission to speak to some of the other voices this evening?
Absolutely.
Okay, great, great. And I'd like to get two commitments from you if I could. Would you, if at any time you feel concerned, if the sensations are too intense or the emotions are too intense, or something just feels too scary for you or for the self, that you'll raise your hand and you'll let me know.
Yes.
And you'll just stop the process and sort of, chill, that you won't take an unsafe risk for the self.
Yes.
Okay, great. Beautiful, beautiful. And then the second request is, would you, as best you can, give me a crystal clear channel to the other voices?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Ready to do a little tapping?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So tapping with me. I'm the controller,
I'm the controller,
and I am in control.
and I am in control.
I'm really good at it.
I'm really good at it.
I've had decades to practice,
I've had decades to practice.
years and years to practice.
Years and years to practice.
I control the sensations that flow through his body,
I control the sensations that flow through his body.
and I'm really concerned about these tremors,
And I'm really concerned about these tremors,
because that's the body out of control,
because that's the body out of control.
and that drives me crazy,
And that drives me crazy,
because I like to be in control.
because I like to be in control.
I don't mind admitting it.
I don't mind admitting it.
I'm a control freak,
I am a control freak,
and I do it all for the self.
and I do it all for the self.
I control the flow of emotions,
I control the flow of emotions,
all those pesky emotions,
all those pesky emotions,
the anger,
the anger,
the fear,
the fear,
that sense of hopelessness,
that sense of hopelessness,
the despair,
despair,
the sadness,
the sadness,
grief,
the grief,
all those different emotions.
all those different emotions.
They can feel a little overwhelming
They
sometimes,
can feel a little overwhelming sometimes,
and I have to struggle to keep control.
and I have to struggle to keep control.
But I do it.
But I do it.
I always get my control back,
I always get my control back,
because I am the controller.
because I am the controller.
I control the thoughts and stories he tells in his mind.
I control the thoughts and stories he tells in his mind.
I control his choices and actions,
I control his choices and actions,
his connections and the people he spends times with.
his connections, and the people he spends time with.
I control everything I can,
I control everything I can,
and I do it because I love the self.
and I do it because I love the self.
I work hard for the self.
I work hard for the self.
I mean, why else would I work so hard all of these years?
Why else would I work so hard all of these years?
Because I am the controller,
Because I am the controller,
and I control the other voices.
and I control the other voices.
And I give my permission
And I give my permission
to move forward this evening
to move forward this evening
and speak to some of the other voices.
and speak to some of the other voices.
And I make two commitments.
And I make two commitments.
If I feel threatened for the self in any way,
If I feel threatened for the self in any way,
I'll stop the process
I'll stop the process.
and raise my hand.
Raise my hand.
And I'll give a crystal clear channel
And I'll give a crystal clear channel
to speak to the other voices invited.
to speak to the other voices invited.
I am the controller,
I am the controller,
and I am in control.
and I am in control.
and shake that out. Have a drink of water, sitting upright, and just take a moment and looking inward. I see lots of yawning on our panel. That's a good sign. And what do you sense? What do you notice? And those of you at home that are listening, enter in the chat box. As a controller, what are you sensing? What are you noticing now in your body and about this voice?
Sense a lot of interest in cooperation.
Say more about that.
Just that want to get in touch with the other parts a little more.
Okay, great. So sort of an excitement about even speaking to some of the other voices tonight.
Yeah. Maybe a little excitement in relinquishing a little control for a change.
But it helps to know that you can come right back up and seize all the control you want and need.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. So what are you sensing in the body?
Peacefulness.
Okay, great. Peacefulness.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to ask you, drill down a little bit. So what's the sensation of peacefulness? What are you really sensing in your body?
Almost like a need for a wanting for some restfulness. In a way.
Okay, so is that almost like a little bit of kind of a weariness quality, like a little tired?
Yeah, a little tiredness. Yeah, I'm juggling a lot lately.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to keep track of all those pesky emotions, that's work in itself.
Absolutely, it is.
Yeah, all right, great. All right, well, thank you. All right, so thank you so much for getting us started with the tapping here, and we're going to move on to the next voice in just a minute. Okay, well, great. Well, let's see a couple people, and let's see. Wendy says burping and yawning. So, Wendy, that's fantastic. And I'm going to tell you a little story in a minute, but yawning is definitely one of the things we see regularly with EFT, and that's really about the body, the brain starting to reoxygenate itself and the system really coming back into homeostasis. And then Randolph Stone, who was one of the great pillars of the last century in the body, mind, spirit world, he developed polarity therapy. And when anybody was on his table and they were belching or burping or farting or yawning or making any kind of noise at all, he would just say praise the one, because he felt that anytime the body is releasing gases like that, it's coming back into homeostasis, it's coming back into healing. So he thought it was definitely a healing experience when the body starts, the intestines start gurgling and the stomach starts gurgling. So that's a great thing. So your burping and your yawning are absolutely welcome. CVO says the controller is just aware of how much it has shut the others down. Absolutely. And that's definitely one of the jobs of the controller, is to shut some of the other voices down. And so in this process, it's about letting the controller find that sort of a nimble, skillful balance of letting the other voices come up and out and express themselves without having to repress them and suppress them and sort of keep them stuffed in a closet or locked in the basement. And your unique self, developing the skill to be strong enough and present enough to allow those voices, even in their immaturity and their youth and their enthusiasm, to come out and and stumble and make mistakes until they are able to walk and run and spin and develop their own level of maturity and competence. And then Davina says, she feels a sense of relief and ready to relinquish control for a few minutes. Absolutely. So, Davina, that's a wonderful cue. Let's dive right into our next panel member. I'm going to come to Jan in Denver. Hello, Jan.
Hi, Alan.
Would you like to guide us and shift with us into the stillness of pure being this evening?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So everyone, as the controller, shifting in your chair, and please let me speak to the stillness of pure being. And who am I speaking to?
I am the stillness of pure being.
And let's tap. I am the stillness of pure being.
I am the stillness of pure being.
I am beyond the beyond.
I am beyond the beyond.
I am beyond the body.
I am beyond the body.
I am beyond the heart.
I am beyond the heart.
I am beyond the mind.
I am beyond the mind.
I am beyond the choices and actions.
I am beyond the choices and actions.
I am beyond the spirit.
I am beyond the spirit.
I am beyond the beyond.
I am beyond the beyond.
I am vast spaciousness.
I am vast spaciousness.
I am eternal emptiness.
I am eternal emptiness.
I am infinite nothingness.
I am infinite nothingness.
I am beyond all borders and boundaries.
I am beyond all borders and boundaries.
I am beyond all time and all space.
I am beyond all time and all space.
I am beyond all beginnings and all endings.
I am beyond all beginnings and all endings.
I am beyond all birth and all death.
I am beyond all birth and all death.
I am the stillness at the heart of all things.
I am the stillness at the heart of all things.
I am the field of pure potentiality.
I am the field of pure potentiality.
I am unborn Buddha mind.
I am unborn Buddha mind.
I am big mind.
I am big mind.
I am the witness.
I am the witness.
Eternal presence and awareness.
Eternal presence and awareness.
I am the watcher.
I am the watcher.
I witness as universes are born,
I witness as universes are born,
expand over billions of years,
expand over billions of years,
and collapse into nothingness.
and collapse into nothingness.
I witness in pure stillness.
I witness in pure stillness.
All things arise in my field of awareness.
All things rise in my field of awareness,
All things dissolve into my field of nothingness.
and all things dissolve into my field of nothingness.
I am non-attachment.
I am non-attachment,
Nothing to avoid.
nothing to avoid,
Nothing to seek.
nothing to seek,
Nothing to grasp.
nothing to grasp.
All things are perfect in this moment.
All things are perfect in this moment.
I am the stillness of pure being.
I am the stillness of pure being.
I welcome every circumstance,
I welcome every circumstance,
every sensation,
every sensation,
every experience
every experience
with pure presence,
with pure presence,
without contracting,
without contracting,
without expanding,
without expanding,
without grasping,
without grasping,
without avoiding.
without avoiding.
Pure stillness,
Pure stillness,
the stillness of pure being,
the stillness of pure being,
vast spaciousness,
vast spaciousness,
eternal emptiness,
eternal emptiness,
infinite nothingness.
infinite nothingness.
I am the stillness of pure being.
I am the stillness of pure being.
And just relaxing, sitting upright. And just closing your eyes for a moment, looking deep into yourself. Allowing this field of energy of everyone connected in this call this evening, that feel the stillness of pure being expanding from heart to heart, mind to mind, and each mind transcending into vast spaciousness, so that each of us is a hub of the present moment, arising in richness and fullness, and yet sensing into infinity and spaciousness. That each person on this call is a portal of stillness, transmitting stillness to every sentient and conscious being in all the created universes. Aloof, detached, present, with no agenda. For those of you watching, listening at home, feel free to enter. What are you sensing? What do you notice in your body and as the voice of stillness? And for our lovely echo this evening, what are you sensing? What are you noticing in your body?
That it's okay to just be.
Just being. Perfectly okay to just be. Nothing to change. Nothing to manipulate. Nothing to do.
Nothing to fear or worry about.
Yeah. You're so far beyond fear and worry. I like to think and sense in this voice that the fear and worry of the self is just a little bit of cosmic flotsam jetsam in the rising and falling universes. Just stardust in the universe. Beautiful. Anything else you sense and feel?
I feel a lightness in my chest instead of that heavy tension.
Uh-huh. So
Like
that's
I
sort
can
of,
take a deep breath.
yeah, well, go ahead. Take a deep breath. A deep cosmic breath. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Beautiful. All right. Well, thank you for helping us get to this point, and we're going to circle and we're going to move on to the next voice. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So CVO says a peaceful stillness is always there, but the overlay of anxieties are there and pressing. Um, so, so what I would recommend in your own practice, Stevie, is to go back to the controller, shift back to the controller and acknowledge the fear, acknowledge the anxiety, and just say, what's at risk if the self is absolutely able just to shift into this stillness for a few minutes? And oftentimes something like, oh, I'm afraid the self will never come back, or there'll be some loss of identity, or, there's some sort of, loss of self. And what I usually like to say is, okay, so you were able to sense a little bit into that stillness, and yet, here we are, we're still here, we're still present. So just see if you can get cooperation from the controller just to shift completely into the stillness for even like 60 seconds. And if the controller says yes, then I do time it. I'll do this with my watch. It's like, okay, let's go and just tap with stillness for just a few minutes. Vast spaciousness, stillness, openness. And just see if you can completely surrender and submit to the stillness of pure being. And at the end of the 60 seconds, go back to the controller. Honor your commitment. Honor your promise to the controller. Come back and just say, how was that? How was that? And, dialogue with the controller a little bit, and then just say, okay, now do I have your permission to really shift, and let's hang out in the stillness. And that's usually all it takes, is just that honoring and the respecting of the anxiety and the controller and the protector, and to be able to shift like that. Davina says she's sensing peace. Wendy said yawned a lot while tapping, and tears are rolling on her cheek. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. All right, and Denise, who we're about to come to in just a minute, warmth in my lower gut and second chakra. So, Miss Denise, coming to you, my dear.
I'm here.
All right. Are you ready to, would you like to be my echo for the unconditional love of the Divine Mother?
Yes, I would.
Do you think you can handle that for me?
I think I can.
Yeah, just don't throw me in the briar patch, please. All right,
Not
great.
tonight.
Not tonight. Okay, great. All right, so tap with me. Everybody shifting. Let me speak to the unconditional love of the Divine Mother. And who am I speaking to?
I am the unconditional love of the Divine Mother.
And tap with me. I am the Divine Mother.
I am the Divine Mother.
I too am beyond the beyond.
I too am beyond the beyond.
I am vast spaciousness.
I am vast spaciousness.
I am eternal emptiness.
I am eternal emptiness.
I am the nothingness that gives birth to nothingness.
I am the nothingness that gives birth to nothingness.
And I am the nothingness that gives birth to the created universes.
And I am the nothingness that gives birth to the created universes.
The created universes are my very own body.
The created universes are my very own body.
I give birth to my own body.
I give birth to my own body.
The cosmos itself is a manifestation of my body.
The cosmos itself is a manifestation of my body.
I give birth to time and space.
I give birth to time and space.
Past, present, and future.
Past, present, and future.
I give birth to the 10 directions.
I give birth to the 10 directions.
Heaven and earth.
Heaven and earth.
The 4 cardinal points.
The 4 cardinal points.
North, south, east, and west.
North, south, east, and west.
And all directions in between.
and all directions in between.
I give birth to the 5 elements.
I give birth to the 5 elements:
Earth and water,
earth and water,
fire and air,
fire and air,
and ether to contain them all.
and ether to contain them all.
I give birth to all things.
I give birth to all things.
My heart is the universal heart.
My heart is the universal heart.
My love is unconditional.
My love is unconditional.
My love is the energy that weaves and waves through all of creation.
And my love is the energy that weaves and waves through all creation.
The entire universe sings my love song.
The entire universe sings my love songs.
The great Om.
The great Om.
I love intimately all of my creation.
I love intimately all of my creation.
Every conscious being.
Every conscious being.
All the planets with all their minerals.
All the planets with all their minerals.
Plants.
Plants.
Animals.
Animals.
Humans.
Humans.
Angels.
Angels.
Gods and goddesses.
Gods and goddesses.
They are all my children.
They are all my children.
Luminous with my light and love.
Luminous with my light and love.
I love all of them unconditionally.
I love all of them unconditionally.
No matter where they are on the spectrum of development.
No matter where they are on the spectrum of development.
I love my saints.
I love my saints.
Just as I love my sinners.
Just as much as I love my sinners.
I love the pirate and the bully.
I love the pirate and the bully.
Just as I love my bodhisattvas.
Just as I love my bodhisattvas.
And my enlightened beings.
My enlightened beings.
I hold them all with fierce grace and intimacy.
I hold them all with fierce grace and intimacy.
And it is through my unconditional love.
And it is through my unconditional love
That I root out cruelty and hatred.
that I root out cruelty and hatred.
Ignorance and stupidity.
Ignorance and stupidity.
To bring all conscious beings.
To bring all conscious beings.
Into wholesomeness and wholeness.
Into wholesomeness and wholeness.
I am the unconditional love.
I am the unconditional love.
Nothing to avoid.
Nothing to avoid.
Nothing to grasp.
Nothing to grasp.
Nothing to seek.
Nothing to seek.
The entire universe is permeated with my love.
The entire universe is permeated with my love.
My love is unshakable.
My love is unshakable.
Indefatigable.
Indefatigable.
Inexhaustible.
Inexhaustible.
Capable of embracing
capable of embracing
any circumstance,
any circumstance,
any intensity,
any intensity,
and holding it with love.
and holding it with love.
Unconditional love.
Unconditional love.
The thread of all the entire universes.
The thread of all the entire universes.
The matrix of all of creation.
The matrix of all of creation.
Is my love.
Is my love.
My heart center.
My heart center.
Is the heart center of every conscious being.
Is the heart center of every conscious being.
I am grace.
I am grace.
I am gentleness.
I am gentleness.
I am kindness.
I am kindness.
And I am fierce in my loving.
And I am fierce in my loving.
Gentle as a grandmother.
Gentle as a grandmother.
Protective as a lioness.
And protective as a lioness.
I am unconditional love of the Divine Mother.
I am unconditional love of the Divine Mother.
Luminous light and love.
Luminous light and love.
And everybody shaking that out, taking a breath, just taking a moment. Just really sensing yourself into that infinite quality, luminous love, stretching beyond all time and space into infinity. And yet with your intention giving birth, weaving the entire cosmos from your own body. Sheer quality of your love, unshakable. Present to all the suffering in this world. Just simply opening your heart more and more and more. Allowing your unconditional love to pour into this world. So for those of you at home, if you feel like entering in what you're sensing, what you're feeling, and for our beautiful echo, what are you sensing? What are you noticing?
I am noticing how tingly my feet are, my palms are, and just this total expansion of my torso. It feels empty, but yet fully wide open at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a beautiful energy to be in, that I can see the intentions that other people had who have worked me. and there's a space of forgiveness there because they have their frailties and their weaknesses too,
Yeah.
and their woundedness.
Yeah. And from this place of unconditional love, you can hold their woundedness
Yeah,
and their fear in your heart.
yeah, because they've been hurt too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Beautiful. Beautiful.
it's a lot easier to let go of all the ego struggles from this space.
Well, you realize so much of the ego is founded on fear. And
Right.
yeah, from this unconditional love, can you just hold the ego? Can you hold the separate self with just compassion and kindness and presence?
Yeah.
Because she struggled. She struggled so much in her life.
Yeah, so much hurt.
Hmm.
But God, she survived.
Hmm. Yeah.
I honor that.
Yeah. And now has the capacity to, through you, feel actual forgiveness for so much of the suffering that she's experienced. What a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a blessing indeed.
Yeah. So, I want you to, so we can focus on the separate self and the ego, but, can you even sort of zoom that focus back and just see how there are galaxies that are colliding in the cosmic space of things, and stars are exploding, and you can just hold it all with this infinite capacity of love and wonder and awe.
Oh, the R is for all of humanity and the cosmos. I mean, it's a miracle
Mm-hmm.
what goes on and what's gone on and what will come.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
unfathomable,
Mm-hmm.
and yet it's so understandable at the same time.
Yeah. So I want you just to, as much as you can, sense in your body this quality of unconditional love and this awe of, galaxies, spinning and through space and colliding and stars on fire. And it's just part of the rising and the falling. Universe is coming and universe is going.
Yeah.
And that's you.
Yeah. And there's this moment, and yet there's eternity, and it's infinite.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, beautiful. Well, thank you for being our echo for the Divine Mother. And we're going to come and look at the chat here, and then we're going to come to Carolyn and um, take it to the peak of the pyramid. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan.
So let's see. Davina says, it's really great to sense that unconditional love always running in the background. Wendy says, sobbing a lot, like wrenching out for my heart to open. Also feel the heat in the palate of my mouth. Beautiful, beautiful. Just, oh, beautiful. Stevie O says the Divine Mother is holding the diminished anxieties. Beautiful. Davina again says, infinite capacity for love, amazing expansion. So beautiful, beautiful. By Jove, I think we've got it here. So, all right. Well, coming to you, Miss Carolyn. How are you, dear?
I'm very peaceful.
Well, you have this little candle glow just above your head, and then there's that angel on top of that. So,
Yes, they're always with me.
yeah, yeah. All right. Well, so just as I like to say, everybody, remembering that, say that left hand is the voices of the separate self, the controller, the protector, the emotions, fear, desire, anger, shame, grief, all those voices, all those emotions, and all their nuances and subtleties have their own voice. And then we worked with the Divine Father, the Divine Mother, stillness of pure being, unconditional love. So imagine that those are the base of a pyramid, and we're now going to go to the peak. We're going to go to a voice that transcends and includes and integrates all aspects of consciousness, all aspects of who you are. So everybody shifting in your chair, let me speak to the unique self. And who am I speaking to?
I am the unique self.
And tap with me. I am the unique self.
I am the unique self.
I transcend, include, and integrate
I transcend, include, and integrate
all aspects of the separate self.
all aspects of the separate self.
All the voices of the separate self.
All the voices of the separate self.
All the sensations and emotions of the separate self.
All the sensations and emotions of the separate self.
All the experiences of the separate self.
All the experiences of the separate self.
All of the hopes and the desires of the separate self.
All the hopes and desires of the separate self.
I transcend, include, and integrate
I transcend, include, and integrate
all the voices of the enlightened self.
all the voices of the enlightened self.
The stillness of pure being.
The stillness of pure being.
The witness.
The witness.
Detachment.
Detachment.
Non-attachment.
Non-attachment.
The Divine Mother.
The Divine Mother.
Fierce grace.
Fierce grace.
Unconditional love.
Unconditional love.
The enlightened qualities of all the archetypes.
The enlightened qualities of all the archetypes.
The enlightened qualities of all the gods and goddesses.
The enlightened qualities of all the gods and goddesses.
I transcend, include, and integrate
I transcend, include, and integrate
all aspects of consciousness.
all aspects of consciousness.
I am fully embodied,
I am fully embodied,
fully enlightened,
fully enlightened,
fully present,
fully present,
fully engaged.
fully engaged.
I am unshakable.
I am unshakable.
I am grounded in the infinite,
I am grounded in the infinite,
and yet I am immediate in this moment.
and yet I am immediate in this moment.
I have all the skills of time and space,
I have all the skills of time and space,
and I have all the skills of eternity
and I have all the skills of eternity
and infinity.
and infinity.
I am vast spaciousness,
I am vast spaciousness,
and I am these bones and this breath.
and I am these bones and this breath.
I am my sole purpose,
I am my sole purpose,
embodied in this moment.
embodied in this moment.
Love and compassion,
Love and compassion,
presence and awareness,
presence and awareness,
as only I can offer to myself and the world.
as only I can offer to myself and the world.
I am unique.
I am unique.
In 13.5 billion years of evolution,
In 13.5 billion years of evolution,
there has never been a soul incarnated like me.
there has never been a soul incarnated like me.
I am the rainbow unique self,
I am the rainbow unique self,
luminous,
luminous,
light,
light,
radiant love,
radiant love,
reaching to the far corners of the created universes.
reaching to the far corners of the radiant universes.
As I grow and heal and expand,
As I grow and heal and expand,
the universe itself grows, heals, and expands.
the universe itself grows, heals, and expands.
I am the unique self.
I am the unique self.
I am inexhaustible,
I am inexhaustible,
unshakable,
unshakable,
indefatigable.
indefatigable.
I can handle
I can handle
every circumstance that comes to me and through me.
every circumstance that comes to me and through me.
I can handle every sensation,
I can handle every sensation,
every emotion,
every emotion,
every memory.
every memory.
I allow it to come up and through me.
I allow it to come up and through me.
All my blocks,
All my blocks,
years and years of resistance,
years and years of resistance,
I offer now
I offer now
with surrender and submission,
with surrender and submission,
allowing the energy to return
allowing the energy to return
to the creative matrix of being.
to the creative matrix of being.
I choose to release it now
I choose to release it now
with power,
with power,
presence,
presence,
dignity,
dignity,
love, and respect.
love, and respect.
I am the unique self.
I am the unique self.
I can handle it.
I can handle it.
I can take it.
I can take it.
Let it roll.
Let it roll.
And let the good times roll.
And let the good times roll.
Let the ecstasy and the joy move through me.
Let the ecstasy and joy move through me.
With my own unique song and dance.
With my own unique song and dance.
Let me raise my entire life in praise and glory.
Let me raise my entire life in praise and glory.
Hallelujah, sister.
Hallelujah, sister.
And shake it out. To everyone, just taking a moment. John, would you check something? Somebody, several people are saying they're out of the timeline and not able to reconnect. I don't know what that means, so thank you. But I can see Denise says, woohoo, thank you, girl. Okay. Okay. All right. Oh, I'm going to let John wrestle with that. Because I know we're still recording here, so we can move forward. So what are you sensing? What are you feeling, my dear?
I am feeling complete peace and connection and also complete safety.
Mm-hmm.
No boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My heart is completely open.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, that was a concern
Yes,
when we started the call. So, yeah, beautiful. Well, and for me, that's my goal. Even when I'm moving in and out of the separate self, is can I keep my body relaxed? Can I keep my heart open? And can my mind be still? John, did you see Stevie's comment here about reconnect? Because I don't know what they're talking about here. Huh. Well, bummer. I don't. John, would you unmute yourself? Do you have any comment about what's going on?
Yeah, it looks like our video has paused.
Oh, it's frozen.
Remember what happened way back? I think it's just, and it'll come back.
Well,
So,
would you enter that into the chat and just say,
yeah.
hey, we think it's just frozen, but for us, we're still streaming. And also say that even if it doesn't unstick, we'll have the recording, and the recording would be fine based on our experience in the past. So we'll just keep going. Okay. Okay, Miss Carolyn. Well, any other comments or what you're sensing, what you're feeling, even in the midst of technical difficulties? Is your heart still open, and is your mind still, and is your body present?
It is. I did not get myself distracted by what was going on. I maintained my presence in the moment and just kept feeling my heart sending out love.
Mm-hmm. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, well, thank you. And now we're going to sort of move into the being love process. So I'm going to ask if anybody would like to sort of volunteer to sort of see if we can connect to some one of those chronic emotions that you maybe want to raise. Okay, all right. Well, Carolyn, you're back. Okay, so unmute yourself, dear. Okay, so from this place of unconditional love, and presence is what we want.
Yes.
Can you think of a situation, a memory that usually triggers you, and gets your, heart racing and your dander up and, your heart, contracting? Can you go to a memory that usually does that?
Anything to do with dating.
All right. So it helps to be specific. So can you go back to a date where you were really, and it could be before the date or during the date, where you were really anxious and feeling vulnerable and insecure and fearful and needing to protect yourself?
Yes. Do I need to be in the space, or do you need more information?
Really, I'm just more interested in the sensations,
Okay.
So tell me what's the primary emotion and what are you sensing?
Vulnerability and fear of being hurt again.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, I want you to, and I would think that vulnerability, there's sort of an excruciating, painful quality to that vulnerability.
Very tight in my heart and
Yeah.
fearful.
Okay.
Fearful of being who I am, being seen for who I am, and being abandoned for who I am.
Okay, great. So there's a fear of being seen for who you are and being abandoned, being rejected for who you are. Okay,
Yes.
great. So, all right. So those are wonderful words, and that's a great story. So now I want you to come back to that tightness in your chest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. And so let's just focus on the raw sensations of that. Just be present to the tightness in your chest. What else are you sensing in your body?
It's difficult to take a deep breath.
Okay, great. So the breath feels real tight as well. What else are you sensing in your body?
Contracting, like I'm trying to pull my body in tight and make it smaller.
Yeah. So like you're even contracting your physical body, contracting your energy, just sort of tightening everything. Excellent. Is there any sense of temperature that you're
Yeah,
feeling?
yeah. The heat is rising in my body, and that usually is when I unconsciously pull in my angels to protect my energy and bound me.
Okay, so so I invite you now to know that your angels are there, know that you as your unique self are there with all the skills of the universe, and just can you be with that sort of clamping of the energy, contracting of the body,
Mm-hmm.
the tightness of the heart. Can you just be present with it with detachment and unconditional love?
Yes.
Okay. And for me, I like to imagine that unconditional love is a mist that completely surrounds those dominant sensations and the feelings in the body. So can you sort of surround those sensations with this mist of unconditional love?
Mm-hmm.
No agenda, nothing to change, no reason to be different, just acknowledging and being aware of the sensations. And the sensations might change. They might move to different places in the body. They might amplify in intensity. They might decrease. They might change color. They might change temperature. Just allowing them to be, and allowing that mist of unconditional love and presence to sort of shape shift with the sensations, and just mirror them, and just be present with love and understanding.
Temperature's starting to drop again, or drop.
Okay, great. So going from sort of a heat and to a cooler. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My heart is opening.
So there's sort of an expansion around the chest.
Yep.
Okay,
The
great.
anxiety in my solar plexus and sacral area is calming. There's still some there, but it's greatly reduced.
Yeah, so just continue to be present with it, and just to let that mist be around the sacral and the solar plexus and the heart, and just be present to the sensations, allowing them to shape and shift as they will.
It's almost as if I can feel the energy outside of my body now. So it's like sending out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not shut down. I'm not closed anymore. I can see and feel energy moving, not in towards me yet, but away from me, so that I'm not clamped like I was before.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say, you can sense the subtle energy field outside of your skin,
Yes.
where before it was all contained inside the body.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great, great. Just keep breathing. Just keep being present with love, respect, presence. Just sensing the sensations, letting them do whatever they want to do. They've been shut down for a long time.
It's almost as if there's a small light inside of me that's trying to get really big.
Okay. So let that just expand. Where are you sensing that light?
Uh, solar plexus.
Okay. Okay. So again, don't try to expand it. Just let it be, surrounding it with unconditional love and presence. Just shape shifting with it, shrinking, growing, expanding, whatever the light chooses to do of its own accord. No agenda.
It's burning very brightly, but it's staying in my solar plexus.
Okay, great. Does it have a temperature?
It's a candle.
Okay.
It's like an old-fashioned candle with big plate with a holder on it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it's
Okay.
very comfortable.
Yeah. So I understand there's an image there you're seeing in your mind's eye. So what's the sensation of that image, of that candle in your solar plexus?
Safety.
Okay. Great. Beautiful. And what's the sensation of safety? Openness.
Openness, protection,
Okay.
no fear.
Okay.
That whatever is out there is okay. It's safe. The unknown doesn't matter.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Any other sensations in your body you're noticing?
Peace.
Peace. Okay.
Peace. Yeah. There's still a tenseness in my shoulders.
So just let that tightness, let that pain, that discomfort, let it just be there in your shoulders, and let the unconditional love and presence of the unique self just be there.
I'm sensing like a seesaw between my right and left side, almost as if it's trying to balance itself. And with the understanding and knowledge now that it's never exactly equal, there's always a giving and there's always a receiving. It's in maintaining a balance between the two that opens the heart.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's sort of the scales of Libra right there.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So the fluctuation of right and left, again, the body just coming to its natural homeostasis and letting the fluidity of the body move. You might even just try sort of, rolling your shoulders, rolling your head, just sort of letting the shoulders dance there with that sort of balancing of the scales. And everybody at home can do this as well, just sort of let your shoulders, and then come back up and just sort of, again, refocus on the sensations and surround the sensations with that presence and unconditional love. Just, what do you sense? What do you notice?
I feel like an energy flow going down my legs into the ground, to where my feet are on the floor.
Mm-hmm. So energy moving, down the legs and into the feet. Beautiful. What else do you sense?
Calmness.
Mm.
Serenity.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I keep hearing it's all good, and that's the way it feels.
Mm. All right. So, I think maybe this took 15 minutes. So just notice how I kept always coming back to sensation. Always coming back to sensation. I mean, the mind is always going to interpret and translate and do what it does. But when we focus on the raw sensations in the body, then that energy can start to move and release itself.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you so much, Miss Carolyn.
Thank you, Alan.
Mm-hmm. So let's see if there's one more volunteer that would like to sort of experience the process. You want to raise your hand and wave at me if you're willing to Okay. All right, Miss Jan. How are you?
Great.
Good, good. So just tell me, what are you sensing and feeling now as we where we're at?
Just weightless nothingness. Just like anything that I was concerned about has no, I'm not concerned about it. I can't even remember what I was concerned about.
Right. That was so 2 hours ago,
Yes.
or an hour and a half ago, actually.
So many past lives ago. I can't even
Yeah.
go there.
All right. Well, let's see if we can, from this beautiful place of stillness and unconditional love and presence, let's see if we can trigger the separate self to have a memory and a sensation. So, is there a memory that you go back to, that something that somebody did or something that somebody said that often will trigger you into that feeling of either fear of being annihilated or fear of being abandoned, or both?
If I'm speaking and somebody speaks over me, or somebody, they stop listening to me, it just,
Okay, so can you think of one specific memory where you were talking and someone spoke over you and you felt discounted, you felt abandoned and neglected? It's important to get one specific memory.
well, just recently at work, we were discussing scheduling issues, and I was describing a certain way of scheduling that would work for all of us, and the group just started talking separately as if I wasn't even talking.
Okay, so I want you to just close your eyes for a moment, and I want you to just say in your mind's eye, be in that room, and you're sharing what you feel is a very valuable and beneficial idea, and everybody starts talking to each other like you don't even exist. And when you have that clearly in your mind's eye, nod your head for me. Now tell me, what's the sensation in your body of feeling completely discounted and ignored and talked over?
It's just this contraction with this rising tension
Hmm.
of
Okay, so yeah, where do you feel the contraction?
in my solar plexus, my
Solar
gut,
plexus, gut. Okay, gut, belly, and okay, and
neck,
then
and throat.
okay, and the neck and the throat. Excellent. What else are you sensing? Is there that contraction in the other areas of the body? What was happening in your hands?
Pretty much my entire body contracts. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, so like what Carolyn would say, the energy contracts and tightens, the whole body contracts and tightens. Is there any intense temperature or any fluctuation of temperature you notice in the body?
it's like a chill.
A chill, okay. Where do you notice the chill?
Pretty much all over.
Okay, so yeah, like you're, just chilled to the bone, to the core. Okay, great. Anything about vibration or movement in the body?
There's just like a complete withdrawal inside, and a stiffness. Like,
Okay. Okay, great. So like a stiffness and a complete withdrawal. So it's like you've retreated completely into yourself.
yeah, just it's a preparation.
Okay. Okay, great. All right. So now from this place of the unique self, with the divine presence, unconditional love, I want you, and it could be just, you need to surround your entire body and energy field with this, for me, in my mind's eye, I imagine as like a cloud, a mist of unconditional love that's just completely surrounding all the sensations that you're feeling in the body, all this tightness, all this contraction, particularly in the belly and the solar plexus. And just let it be. No agenda, no agenda, nothing to grasp, nothing to fear, nothing to seek. Just embrace and welcome all that contraction, all those sensations of tightening and retreating and pulling in, that chilliness to the bone. Completely immersing it in unconditional love. And the sensation might shift and change and move, shape shifting as it will, and just letting it do the dance it wants to do. And just be present with all of your being. Be present with all the love in the entire created universes. Loving this sensation, loving this contraction, loving this chilliness. And what do you sense? What do you notice?
Well, it's hard to be chilly and contracted in the presence of that love.
All right. Okay, so do you notice some sort of shift or movement then?
Oh yeah, it's like a sensation of like gold threads surrounding me, like pig pen, only with warm, fuzzy, liquid gold, and it's just a relaxing and a warming. And it's like all those sensations fade away.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, as you just, scan your whole body, so is there any place where you still feel any chilliness?
In my chest, this tightness.
Okay, great. Okay. So just, be present to that chilliness and tightness in your chest, and just allow that mist, you can imagine it as a color or as a cloud or as a texture, but whatever that unconditional love feels like to you, just completely surround that contraction in the chest and the heart center, that chilliness. Again, no attempt to change it or manipulate it. Just be present with it. Love it for its being. What are you sensing? What are you feeling?
It's like being wrapped in a warm blanket.
Mm-hmm.
Just relaxed and comforted.
Mm-hmm. And what's that sensation in your chest now?
It's gone.
Uh-huh. So there's openness?
Yeah, it's just cozy.
Uh-huh. So like a warmth, an openness. Okay, good, good. So scanning your entire body, your entire being, is there any contraction, tightness, chilliness?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. So that's
Thank
the
you.
process. And here if we have a lifetime of avoiding these emotions and these sensations. We're masters at it because they're painful, they're scary. And so when you can be present to these sensations and really be as detailed as you can, and when you can be present with them and be in that place of love and awareness with no agenda, no attempt to manipulate it, no desire for it to be different or better, then you're in your unique self. And that's the secret sauce. That's what makes this process work. If you can feel any impulse of manipulation or needing it to be different than it is, you're still in the separate self in some way. And you need to shift more into the enlightened voices, more into the unique self. So that's the secret.
I like secrets.
Yeah, well, and it's a secret I'd like to share with the world. So, I'd like it to be a global secret.
That's good.
So, and when you can do that, it's like with Carolyn, we did this in, this was about 11 minutes. I think we just did this process. So, a pain that you've had that's haunted you all of your life, here's one little experience of it. Now, as you start to work with this, earlier memories will come up and more painful memories will come up, but you're flexing your muscles like you're going to the gym, and you're developing the skills of non-attachment and unconditional love, and you can say, oh, I can handle this. I can actually keep my heart open and feel this for the first time. And that's the art of being love and letting these experiences come up and through you. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. All right. Anybody else? We've got time for one more. If somebody's really feeling like they want to dig deep to their toenails here, and if not, then I feel good too. So raise your hand. It's now or never, kids. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna come back, and so I'm just gonna come right back to you, Jan, and just say, hey, thank you for your vulnerability and being an echo tonight and sharing your experience. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. And Miss Denise, thank you for always your shining spirit and your willingness to jump into the trenches and be vulnerable and share your experience.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm in such a nice place right now, such a nice energy.
Well, my goal is for us to live from this place, for you to find
That
this to be your new normal. That's what I intend for you.
it's happening more and more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Miss Carolyn, thank you, my dear, for
Okay.
your beautiful voice and your vulnerability and your willingness to dive into your own fear and insecurity.
Thank you. Thank you for helping me to live in a better space with a more open heart.
Yeah.
Very grateful.
So let me know about your next date.
I will.
All right. Okay, and Mr. John, I just want to thank you for, you did wore two hats today, even though we could see your beautiful bald head there. Yes. So you were tapped with us and were vulnerable with us and shared your voice, and you were doing double time with the technical difficulties and things. So
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. We had some technical difficulties. I see Ellie said that yes, we're back. So thank you. That's great. Not exactly sure where you picked up on the process, but we'll have the replay that'll go out to everybody, and it'll be available on the somewhere on the site, either its own tab or I predict that Being Love deserves its own tab on the Enlightened Tapping site. So this is the latest edge of my work, and it's what I do for myself. And I'll be driving down the road, and it happens to me a lot. Like when I'm in the shower, when I'm driving, it's like my brain is just focused enough on what I need to be doing, but then my imagination can sort of roam, and I'll go to an old memory, or I'll remember something that causes me pain, and I just pull off the road and put the truck in park and just do this little process. And I'm skilled enough now with the unique self that I can summon those qualities of the witness and non-attachment and unconditional love. And it can take 5 minutes, it can take 15 minutes. It depends on how intense the memory is. But, it's just amazing. It's like things are being released in a phenomenal way, and it's just happening quicker and quicker. And I'm lighter and lighter and more present and in a better and better place. So, just want to say thank you to everybody, and we'll get the replay out. And I think we were about an hour and 20 minutes into it when it froze, as best I can tell. So you can know we'll have it, so you can skip to where you can pick up on this. So thanks everybody. I appreciate you so much. Thanks to my fabulous panel of friends and co-tappers. And let's see, I'm thinking, well, I know Denise and Carolyn are coming to Houston in the event.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
and Jan, are you coming?
Absolutely.
Fabulous. Okay. And John, we're holding the space for you to come too. So John, you want to put the link in? I know it's sort of if you haven't, come and committed to do your seat deposit to come to Houston January 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. John just put the link where you can go and reserve your seat now. So we would love to have you join us and come play with us. And this link is strictly for people who have invested in the program. We'll be opening the event up to the public, and as I told Jan, we just signed the contract today. We finally got everything with the hotel worked out, so the seat block will be available by next Monday for sure, and you can go ahead and reserve your hotel room. So thanks everybody for everything. Appreciate you, and we will see you next time around. So bye-bye.
Right, everybody.
Great.
Bye.